What's going on, everybody? Havoc here. Let's take a look at the Lenovo Legion Go. This device is pretty dang powerful compared to some of the other handhelds that we have on the market right now, like the Asus ROG Ally and Stream Deck. And I'm sure that handhelds will only get better from here since there's a market for them now and people really seem to be catching on to them. I really wish that Sony would bring back the PlayStation Portable, however, because that was my all-time favorite handheld. But, we have the PlayStation Portal now, which is okay if you just want to stream your games. But anyway, let's get started. First off, let's get pricing out of the way. The device is releasing on October 31st and starts off at $699.99 for the 512GB version and $749.99 for the 1TB version. I would honestly just pay the extra $50 and get the 1TB, especially if you have a large gaming library and you don't really want to keep offloading games. Speaking of games, you can use your gaming libraries from GOG, Epic Game Store, Steam, and of course Game Pass. Currently, we don't have an option to get in any other colors other than the shadow black, but I'm sure moving forward, they will have more options for colors, or at least a white one to complement the black. But I think Lenovo is kind of testing the waters right now with this and will expand on the device next year. They already have some complementary accessories to go along with the Lenovo Legion Go, which I'll talk about later. The display has a resolution of 2560 by 1600. It's an IPS display with an aspect ratio of 16 by 10 and is 8.8 inches in size diagonally. Lenovo claims that it reaches 500 nits of brightness, so we'll have to see once we actually get the device. But for comparison, the Steam Deck only reaches 169.7 nits and the Ally reached around 465 nits on average. Now it's also able to go up to 144Hz refresh rate for smooth gaming, or you can switch down to 60Hz. It's got a 10-point touchscreen, Gorilla Glass, which I'm sure is going to be littered with fingerprints just like any other touchscreen, but that's just a trade-off of having a handheld device. Honestly, it's just better to use a touchpad to prevent the fingerprints. It also reaches 97% of the DCI-P3 color gamut compared to the Ally at 76.1% and the Steam Deck at 48.5%, so it's a pretty good looking screen. You're also able to configure all the settings by going into the quick settings menu and adjust brightness, volume, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, resolution, refresh rate between 60 and 144 Hz, and the lighting effects. You can map all the keys if you like to customize your controllers to your liking, although I'm not sure if there's going to be mapping profiles. So like for example, if you're playing a FPS game, then you can select the FPS controller map and then switch to an RPG controller map for another game. It's boasting an AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme CPU and an AMD RDNA 3 graphics. Same thing that you get in the Ally, which seems like it's going to be able to handle all the heavy hitters, but that's really going to be objectively tested when reviewers are able to get the device in for independent testing. Although I'm sure people already have it and are testing it, but because of the embargo, they can't really post anything about it right now. It comes with 16 gigabytes of RAM, and I'm not exactly sure if we can change that for like 32 gigs of RAM, but like I mentioned before, it comes with 512 gigabyte or 1 terabyte of storage, and we have the option to expand the storage using a micro SD card going up to like 2 terabytes. Another thing I just thought of is, like, what if we want to play games off our external solid state drive? I don't know if we're going to be able to do that, but maybe it'll come later. Maybe it's already there. Just have to see. Also, I remember reading that we are able to change out like a 1 terabyte NVMe solid state drive, but probably going to void the warranty if you do that. It's got two USB-C 4.0 ports on the top and the bottom, which you can use for charging or connecting to a monitor, and it's running on Windows 11 Home. Now, personally, I'm not a big fan of how Windows runs on handhelds. I tried it on the ROG Ally and it just didn't feel that fluid. So I'm really hoping that Windows puts out a mobile version for the handheld market. The current operating system just seems very clunky to use. Since this device packs a punch in terms of specs, the question of battery life and heating comes into play. So Lenovo claims that it's pretty efficient in cooling and it doesn't get very loud, with it being less than 25 decibels when you put it into quiet mode. But if you're running in quiet mode, then is everything else going to be lowered, like the resolution, the refresh rate? Not sure. The battery is 49.2 watt hour capacity and it comes with a 65 watt power adapter. So generally the battery life will really depend on what settings you're running. For comparison, the Steam Deck and Ally have a 40 watt hour battery. Lucky for us, Lenovo claims that it's able to be super rapid charged, so you can get 70% in 30 minutes. The Legion Go also has a 2x2 watt speaker system. Now I'm sure they're okay if you don't have any other peripherals with you to listen to, audio, but I wouldn't ideally use these speakers all the time. Better to use your own. Some accessories that you can purchase along with this are the AR smart glasses. These have micro OLED lenses, and I'm actually really interested to see what they look like when you're playing games, also for just watching content. And there's also the Legion 7.1 surround wired in-ear headphones. The device weighs roughly around 1.88 pounds, coming in as the heaviest handheld compared to the Steam Deck, which weighs around 1.48 pounds, and the Ally, which is 1.34 pounds. It has a kickstand, which you can adjust, and you can also remove the two controllers flanking the device. The right controller has a trackpad, and you can disconnect it and use it for FPS games. It has a little switch on the bottom that you can move to FPS mode, and also comes with a magnetic controller base, which turns into like a mouse of sorts. Not really sure how useful it's going to be, but it sounds gimmicky, although I still want to try it. There's also lighting around the joysticks, which can be customized, and it comes with a carrying case, 3 months of Xbox Game Pass trial, but if you buy it from Best Buy, then you get another 1-month membership of the Game Pass Ultimate. Another thing I would like to know is if you can use the two controllers similarly to how you can use them on the Switch if you're playing like a co-op game or something. But yeah, some games that I'm really interested in trying on the go would be like Starfield, Assassin's Creed Mirage, Witcher 3, and Microsoft Flight Simulator. My main concern is about overheating, if that's going to affect the performance of the device and cause stuttering. But overall, I'm pretty excited to try out the Legion Go. It would be my first handheld for playing PC games, and I'm definitely looking forward to what other companies will release now that they know that, people are interested in buying these. So what are your thoughts on the Legion Go? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching. Havoc out.